time for an intro. Welcome aboard to episode number 2 of the Till Train Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Eric Weyerman Schirmer, and with me is the lovely Keegan for the Keeg O'Brien.
Howdy.
All right, today we're going to talk about uh, big news. Not exactly too many games to talk about this week,
Really
because
only
all we
one.
had, all we had was the Gauntlet this weekend.
Yeah.
For both NA and EU. But that does raise some interesting questions about the Worlds. We also had the Worlds Draw Show, which was on Monday, right?
It was Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning. So we got a lot to talk about there. I want to start off with the North American Gauntlet because I don't care about EU, and I'm just gonna let you go through that.
Yeah.
Because you're the European LCS guy here. I'm the North
Sure.
American LCS guy here. So
I'd say that I'm a bit of an everyman.
okay, I'll give you that one. You don't have any allegiances, and it really kind of scares me.
I have
'Cause
an
I feel like
allegiance
you're gonna
to-
stab me in the back.
I have an allegiance to TSM, also Liquid, Unicorns,
Oh yeah,
Misfits,
yeah,
and
like
KT.
6 other teams. Get
Yeah.
out of here, you fucking traitor. Okay, so the first game we had, which was last Friday. Before we start real talking, I want to say that we're recording this on September 13th, 2017, which is one day after we were supposed to record. But
That's okay.
it doesn't matter, because last week's episode went up a day after it was supposed to.
Right.
So, so we're way off the schedule here. So last Friday, which was the 8th, we had Dignitas versus FlyQuest.
Shocking.
I'm actually very surprised about this. We talked about this last week a little bit, that the Gauntlet could kind of go either way, but we kind of felt like we knew who would win. I'm really surprised.
Ultimately, we knew the Gauntlet would be between CLG and Cloud9 for sure.
Which it was, but
it was, yeah.
But the path there was a little bit different than we thought.
Right.
The FlyQuest 3-0ing Dignitas. It was very, very surprising to me.
That was heartbreaking to me because Dignitas, watching the interviews from their players and their coaches, they were all super confident that their losses in previous tournaments were just them performing poorly.
Yeah.
But this makes us wonder what it actually is.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if there's something wrong with like the infrastructure, how they practice or something. But I mean, honestly, like I'd like to say that it was just like one bad game or one bad day, but it was a best of 5.
Yeah.
So I can't really use that excuse. I can't really justify, like when you play best of 1s. Like, I'm going to say this a lot when it comes to group stage and
Right.
TSM starts losing matches. And be like, well, best of 1s are like the worst form of League of Legends because, you just play one and done. That it doesn't offer any of what the sport has become known for, which is adapting in between games.
Right.
And there obviously is plenty of time for that in the best of 5. So I don't even know what happened. I didn't watch any of the Gauntlet.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't really care. I paid attention to the stats that were like while the game was going, but I wasn't actively participating, so I don't really know.
I won't go super in depth on most of these games, but
I don't think it's worth it.
It's really not, but like, yeah, I was just heartbroken. I really was expecting more out of Dignitas, and I think everyone was. I think even they were expecting more out of themselves. And I think we saw them kind of tilt as the game was progressing, which you never want to see.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the shortest game of the entire Gauntlet was game 3 of Fly and Dig.
Yeah.
It was 28 minutes and 18 seconds.
Jesus, that is a short freaking game.
Yeah.
Did they get Baron in that game?
I probably.
I don't even know. It's okay.
I don't know.
You weren't even paying attention hard enough because it was a stomp.
No, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really sure if there's too much to say there. Like, I'd like to talk about, the tragedy that went on with Dignitas, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't. We can.
I'm gonna say props to FlyQuest for making
Yeah.
an appearance and showing up because I didn't think, I mean they got knocked out immediately in
Right.
playoffs, so no one thought that they were gonna do anything. They thought that it was just a walkover team, but they proved that they weren't for at least one game, you know.
Yeah.
But
I'm
they
I'm glad that CLG was able
able to
to.
take it back. Yeah,
It
the
wasn't
next
Cloud9 white and
yeah.
Cloud9 blue.
Cloud9 2.0 and Cloud9 original.
Yeah.
Um, well, okay, so the next game was CLG versus FlyQuest, which ended in 3-1. Um,
Just as
Honestly,
expected.
yeah, completely expected. Nothing really surprising there. Um,
The only thing unexpected was that it was FlyQuest.
yeah,
Which
well,
that's what we said last week. Like it
yeah.
didn't matter who won between FlyQuest
Mhm.
and Dig because we knew that the
Counter Logic game is
it
going
would
to
it
take
would
them
be
to the
CLG
yeah.
Cloud9 in the last game.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so I mean I'm just gonna move on because that one's not too much of a heartbreaker.
Right. What
The,
is a
the
heartbreaker?
next game was very interesting. Now, actually, I did catch a couple of highlights from this game.
Yeah.
Um, Cloud9 versus CLG. Cloud9 wins 3-1, which not only surprises me that Cloud9 won, but it surprises me that they won in 4 games.
I'm not entirely shocked
Well,
that they won, but I
well,
didn't want them to.
well, see, the thing is, because like we both predicted it was going to be a 3-2 win, no matter who wins. Or we thought,
Right.
yeah. So it was, and I thought it was going to be a 3-2 CLG. I knew it was going to be a real close game, but this is not the close game that we thought it was going to be.
To be fair, all of the games except for so much game 1, but 2, 3, and 4, especially 2 and 4,
Yeah.
were so close.
Okay.
Those could have gone either way.
Which way did they go? 2 and 4.
Uh,
Obviously 4 went Cloud9's way, but the second game did CLG pick it up or did
I believe CLG picked up game
game
2.
2? Okay.
But game 4
Yeah.
was both the longest game with 51 minutes and 52 seconds.
That's a pretty hefty game.
And also the bloodiest game with 36 kills.
Total?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the split between it? Was it was like completely one-sided?
I remember that it was pretty evenly split.
Because like I know it was a close game, which is why it lasted so long. But when I say
Right.
one-sided, I'm talking, what was it? Game 4 with Immortals TSM. It was completely one-sided,
Mhm.
and then TSM just kind of brought it back at the end of the game. So was it that type of thing where like
The
C9 was on the back heels, but then they managed to pull it back
The final score was 23-13
in favor?
in favor of Cloud9.
Okay.
And Cloud9 was up a little over 10k gold, but I think it was something like 11 or 12k gold.
Right.
But the entire game up until the last couple of fights, because it got like Cloud9 had 100,000 gold, and CLG was right up there too. So the gold lead didn't matter at all.
No, I mean once you get to 50 minutes, the gold lead doesn't matter at all.
Right,
It just matters like what items you built with that money.
It was all coming down to team fights, and Cloud9 was able to pull it out.
Pulled off, I guess. All right. Well, and so that means that the teams representing North America were going to be Immortals, TSM, and Cloud9, which is
Immortals and TSM for sure.
yeah, and Cloud9.
Probably Cloud9.
Yeah.
After.
Well, and which I'm not feeling like unconfident with Cloud9 because Cloud9 as an organization has proved itself.
Yeah.
And Sneaky's been to Worlds how many times?
Cloud9 hasn't missed Worlds since they started as a team. So
that's true. They got the TSM treatment with Worlds.
You saying that about Sneaky reminded me how much I was impressed with both Stixay and Sneaky's performance in that last game.
Right.
Because the entire game really came down to Sneaky versus Stixay. And
which I find surprising because CLG having Huhi in the mid lane really kind of makes it like I feel like CLG is the most balanced team compared to TSM because they both have the powerhouse in the mid lane and the bottom lane.
Right.
Because I feel like
Stixay is so
I
good.
feel less so with Cloud9 because I feel like Sneaky can bring it in the bot lane, but Jensen just he's not great, man.
You
Everyone's
are the only person who thinks that.
I know that, but just like look at the numbers, man. Look at his record.
The
You
numbers
just
say that he's a damn good mid laner.
okay, but look at his record. He doesn't have anything to show for it, man.
What are you talking
He could
about?
you can be the best you can be the best mid laner in the world. You could be fucking Faker, but if you can't get a trophy, it doesn't matter.
I
You
don't know
know?
about that.
I think it matters. Results show, okay? So I mean, sure, Jensen can walk circles around people, but it just doesn't. He doesn't make the cut when it matters.
The thing about Jensen is that he is as much responsible for Cloud9 going as far as they've come as any other member of the team because he's been on the
All
team
right.
for
Yeah.
a couple years now.
No, that's true. He has been around for a while. He's definitely indoctrinated into the North American region now.
Oh yeah, he has been for sure.
Okay, so switching gears from the North American Gauntlet, we're gonna take a trip across the pond
Across the pond,
to right over to good old Europe, and I'm gonna take a nap while you go ahead and talk for like 10 minutes. All right? Sound good?
All right, yeah,
All right.
sounds good. All right, so H2K, wake up! I gotta
No.
talk to you about this.
Oh God.
H2K, 3-0'd Splice. All right, easy.
That's true. That
that's-
happened, and we expected that.
We
to
expected
happen.
that to happen.
Now, I get to feast on your tears.
I am so sad. I am so sad that H2K 3-2'd.
They
3-2'd.
made
it went to Game 5 against Unicorns.
They made an impressive series out of that. They made an impressive journey out of this gauntlet, and as much as I want to shit on H2K, I can't do it because because I mean they didn't make it to Worlds, but they made the gauntlet as interesting as possible.
They always do. They always make the gauntlet super interesting.
So, what I want to know is, since you follow the European region way more closely than literally anyone else on the planet, even the European fans don't even care as much as you do.
It's true, the numbers show.
Yeah, the fucking viewership's going away. They're making some major changes, hopefully to change that. We'll talk about that later in the show. I want to know, like, what the fuck happened? Literally, what the fuck? Because that should not have happened. Like,
I'm not saying it shouldn't have happened because H2K and Unicorns have always been super close.
Okay.
All of the, it feels like every time that they have a best of 5 or a tournament together,
right,
that it always comes down to Game 5. This was the first time that H2K has won a best of 5 this year.
Oh, at all?
Yeah, I am just completely dumbfounded. I'm just so sad.
It's okay. Take a minute. Take a minute. I understand it's shocking.
It is shocking. Game 1, I was so confident. It was 17-3 in favor of Unicorns.
Yeah.
Like, over a 10,000 gold lead.
That's a pretty good stomp.
By the end of the game.
Right.
Second game, it was 24-10, but less than 10,000 gold lead in favor of H2K.
So you guys got reverse swept.
Well, no.
No, what happened? That's what you described to me was a reverse sweep. You won the first 2 games.
24-10 in favor of H2K.
Okay, I was just saying.
But with a less than a 10,000 gold lead.
Okay, because I thought you guys got reverse swept and I was about to laugh even harder.
No. We won game 1, they won 2 and 3. Then we won game 4, 6-16.
Okay.
And then game 5.
And then it all came crashing down?
Yeah.
How hard did you cry?
15,000 gold deficit.
How hard did you cry that day?
I was real upset.
You were real sad.
I was so
sad.
Buddy.
It's okay.
I was so sad, then
come here. No.
Then
it's okay. I'm sorry, buddy.
CLG won though.
Yeah.
On that same day. That was okay.
Yeah, that's okay. But they lost. CLG did lose. Later, we
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
about
they did.
this.
You know who also lost? H2K against Fnatic.
H2K did get shit on. They got
3-0,
fucked up,
as expected.
and
If it was unicorns, they also would have
they
gotten
also would have
3-0.
gotten fucked up. But it would have you would have been
Maybe a
happy to
three,
see them get fucked up.
maybe a 3-1 if we pulled out some of the classic cheese that we always do
Okay.
against Fnatic.
Yeah, there's a lot of cheese.
I miss the unicorns Fnatic rivalry.
Yeah, that's some good shit, man. That's like, see, that's what I think. That's what I think Europe is missing. Is they're missing like the rivalry game, you know? Because like North America, everything's a rivalry. You know,
Right. Yeah.
everything's blood. We're out for blood. The score doesn't matter. It's just about personal gain, you know.
Yeah.
And Europe's like they're just having a good time, and I appreciate that they're having a good time, but it's not entertaining to watch.
The thing about Europe that a lot of people have noted is that a lot of their teams, most of their teams, just don't have interesting players.
Yeah, that's true.
Which North America goes out of its way
Oh yeah.
to make their players interesting.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
why we have what? How many teams have like shows about them? We have TSM.
Oh
We
yeah.
have Liquid.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean,
I think
see,
there are a couple
the thing
others.
about that is like there's a difference between making a show of the players and like providing content for the community because you know like I think making Riot makes a show of the players with duos and all of the spotlight videos that they do. That is making a show out of the players. I think that what I really appreciate about TSM Legends and whatever the fuck the other shows are called, I don't know what they're called. I know they exist. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that it? Like I wish I could see that about more of my more sports teams. You know, you get to see how the players practice. You get to see like their thoughts behind the game, and then it I don't know. It just makes me feel like more connected to the team,
Right.
like more as part of the team as a whole. That's a whole different topic. We'll talk about it later. What we do need to talk about now is the group draw, which happened on Tuesday. Now this is some spicy shit,
Ooh.
and it's spicy because not only are there some fresh memes, but some very promising and some very interesting groups
Oh yeah.
happening for Worlds. And so just to run down, just in case anyone hasn't seen it, Group A consists of EDG, SKT, and AHQ. Group B consists of Longzhu, Immortals, and Gigabyte Marines. Group C consists of G2, Samsung Galaxy, and Royal Never Give Up. And then Group D consists of Flash Wolves, Misfits, and TSM. Now, each of those teams are going to consist of 4 groups, but there is a play-in stage for this year's Worlds, which is new, which I think is odd.
I like it.
I think it's cool. It provides us with more games, which means that World starts earlier this year. It actually starts on the 30th
Yeah.
instead of like mid-October because there's so many fucking more games to play this year.
Right.
However, and I'm glad that it's bringing in more teams, than were last year. Like it provides a lot more opportunity for other teams.
Right.
However, I feel like that kind of fucks the way the World Championship should work because it presents a huge opportunity for upsets.
Yeah.
Because
In my
group stage is best of ones.
Yeah.
And that is not great because if SKT were in the place of WE, right? If they were in there instead and they just lose a couple of games, SKT wouldn't be going to the group stage, right?
Right.
Which is
very hypothetical situation.
Absolutely, yeah, and I mean, obviously, it's not gonna happen. But if
It's
that
not-
happens,
yeah.
everyone would be like, "What the fuck?" Obviously, it's SKT. How are they not in group stage? They're SKT, And I feel like it highlights some glaring problems with the way Riot is doing Worlds. But I also think it is very interesting, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Right. I want to really quickly note. We both know that obviously SKT won like a Korean team this year. Obviously, wouldn't have been able to be in the playing stage because they get all 3 of their seeds automatically into
Yeah.
Worlds. This is just a hypothetical
No,
situation.
I'm just trying to talk about how I hate best of ones. That's the
Right.
only thing. So the groups.
I think this makes it way more competitive.
Yeah.
And it I mean, last year the wild card teams are going
Wild card
wild.
teams were going ham, dude.
It was amazing. It
Jesus.
was so much fun to
I
watch.
love watching wild card
And
teams
that's
play.
probably
I
that's almost
love it.
definitely why they're doing this, so that we get the
So,
best of the best wild card teams.
but then we also, oh, I know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they can protect the big teams from the wild card fuckery. That's exactly what they're doing.
What do you
Oh,
mean?
right, you fucker.
What does that mean?
It means that they're trying to protect EDG from losing a game against INTZ this year.
I don't know about that.
That's what they're trying to do. Don't lie to me.
I mean,
you know it's true.
They're not protecting Fnatic, Cloud9, or WE.
That's
which
true.
Which
Okay.
I guess we can get into predictions now. I
no,
don't think.
Well, before we do that, I want you to give me a rundown of the group stage for the the play-in stage. I want to give me the rundown for those groups.
Okay. So in Group A, we have WE,
Yeah.
Gambit,
Yeah.
and Lions.
Lion is from where?
Uh,
God, I don't remember where they're from.
You caught me off guard with that one.
Okay, keep going for it. I'll look for
These
it.
are all they're all from different regions.
Yeah.
Props to Riot for getting as many regions as they can into this.
Yeah.
Lion is really good. Lion has been at the top of their region.
Latin America.
Yeah, they've been at the
Central
top
America, I'm assuming.
They've been at the top of their region for so long.
Okay.
They're actually a very highly regarded
powerhouse team, you would say.
Yeah, and then Group B we have Cloud9, Team One, and the Dire Wolves. Group C we have Fnatic, Young Generation, and Chaos Lantern Gamers.
Yep.
And then Group D we have Hong Kong Attitude, 1907 Fenerbahce.
Jesus, that's a name.
Yeah, 1907 Fenerbahce Esports.
That is a
Esports
fucking,
club.
That is a fucking name, dude.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And then Rampage Gaming.
Okay. So now, most of these teams are wildcard teams, or what we would consider. I don't know if we can consider them wildcard teams anymore, because they have their own regions.
I'd consider them wildcard teams.
Okay.
Until they're given a name.
Okay. All right. So this creates some interesting stuff. Obviously, now I don't really know how the play-in works. Will Group A just kind of slot into where they can, right? Is that where it goes? It's not like Group B goes into Group B and Group C goes into Group C.
No. So the way it'll work is that I believe through the first tournament, only one team will be knocked out of each group, and then eventually the top 4 of each group will
top 2 of each group.
Or no, eventually the top 4 like the top 4
teams in general.
In total,
yeah.
Because it'll be the top 2 going against each other, all that. It's a mini world essentially.
Okay.
The number 1 team from each group will go on to be randomly drawn into their next group, but they're only depending on what team gets through, there's only a couple teams. For WE, for example, can only fit into Group D.
Right.
That's just how the restrictions work.
Yeah.
So there are some wonky
and
things.
And C9 can only go Group A and B.
A and C.
Is it C?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Immortals is in Group B.
And then Fnatic can only go in Group A or
Group B.
Group B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I feel like here's the thing. I feel like about this play-in stage. I feel like it's kind of really easy to pick out which teams are going to be playing onto the next stage, except for Group D.
Group D, I have an idea, but
okay. So I'm just going to put this as WE is going, C9 is going, Fnatic is going.
For sure.
There's no way that C9 and Fnatic and WE are not going to make it out.
No.
I will sooner make a hilarious joke about something I would do.
Make a bet.
What am I going to do?
If Cloud9 doesn't go, what are you going to do?
If Cloud9 doesn't go,
You will pierce your ears.
No, that I don't. No thanks. I'm
You
gonna
will.
go to class with Cloud9 is number one on my forehead,
You'll
written
get
in
like a
marker.
temporary
Like
Cloud Nine
like written in
tattoo.
marker or something.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'll do that.
I don't
If
know.
Cloud9 doesn't make it out, I'll write
You'll
Cloud9
just
is
be
number one on my
trolling.
forehead.
You'll just be trolling the Cloud9
Yeah, that's what
fans.
I'll do.
Good job, nerd.
I'm so bad at this.
Uh, I guess later we can talk about the little pledges I made for how far TSM goes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that when we get to world predictions.
But
Um,
I don't think that I think this might just be because I'm not entirely familiar with HKA Hong Kong Attitude.
yeah.
Uh, I don't. I'm not super confident in them. In my opinion, I think it's just as likely that Fenerbahce goes through because I've heard only good things about that team.
What about RPG? They just are.
Rampage, yeah.
Rampage is just not gonna. You're not even gonna consider it.
I'm.
Because
I've
if
heard
we
more
give
things.
them because if we give them the FlyQuest treatment, they could surprise you.
I mean, yeah, the Group D is completely like
It's a toss up.
I'm expecting upsets.
Right.
I'm just saying that I think I'd be rooting for Fenerbahce.
Okay. Um, I want to talk. I want to ask what you think about the potential for upsets because this creates a huge potential for upsets.
Oh yeah.
However, I don't. The potential is there. However, I don't think it'll happen because Group D is just going to be a clusterfuck.
I think Cloud9 will probably drop
Cloud,
games.
Well, see the thing is,
Fnatic will drop games.
Cloud9 and Fnatic, I don't think are going to get upset that much. Like maybe
Probably
two,
not that
maybe
much.
a maximum of 2 games. I see.
Right.
But I really think that um, that Group A has more potential with Lions. I don't know about Gambit being in there.
I mean, all three of those teams are very established organizations.
Okay, but there's the thing is this is not European Gambit.
Right.
This isn't European. This isn't EU LCS Gambit. This is like I don't know where they came from now.
It's same organization though, so.
Well, I know that, but it's I just I don't know like what region they're in now. Like, are they a Russian team now? What the hell are they doing now?
I'm not entirely sure.
You need to look it up.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Uh.
What do we
Anyway.
got?
Anyways. So what are you expecting out of these groups then?
I'm expecting. I mean, WEC9 and Fnatic. I'm guaranteeing are gonna get out. I think I'm gonna go ahead and say Hong Kong Attitude is gonna get out of Group D
It's a safe bet.
because I have heard of that name before. That's how I like to. Oh, they are Russian.
They're a Russian team.
They're a Russian. Oh, for the motherland. Oh, I'm rooting for them now. um,
they do have some established members. The entire team is based around Diamond Procs.
oh, okay.
They have Stayhos and Kira in the top and mid lane.
Oh, they have Kira.
Yeah, they have established members.
Oh, Kira's finally gonna get to play at something other than the All Star game.
There you go.
So I think Hong Kong Attitude is gonna get out purely based on the fact that I know who they are.
Sure.
I have heard of that team before.
Yeah.
That's how I do like a lot of my sports predictions because like my family's
It's safe.
my family's super into NCAA like March Madness basketball, and they make me do a bracket every year, and I'm like, oh, I've heard of that team, they'll probably win.
Right. Yeah.
That's my only strategy.
Exactly.
And that's the only strategy I have for this. So I think that Hong Kong Attitudes will probably get out.
For sure.
It's honestly just a toss up. It doesn't really matter, however, because they can be the teams they can be slotted into is like
if they get into if they get out of the play-ins, the only team I think that will get out
yeah.
of Worlds groups is WE. Because if they
You
get
don't
out,
think Fnatic or C9 have the potential
no,
at all.
no,
0% chance.
I mean, who are they going up against? Like let's look at this Cloud9.
Well, okay.
Cloud9 is either going against G2, Samsung, and RNG, which
Oh
Samsung and
shit, you're
RNG
right.
have that locked
Group
in,
C is fucked
or
up, man.
EDG and SKT.
Yeah, Group A's and C are both fucked up. Yeah, okay. I'll give. All
Fnatic,
right,
Fnatic
all right.
isn't gonna be able to beat. I mean, maybe they can upset
I mean, I think
Longzhu.
you
No,
know, they can't, they won't,
Immortals.
they can
Maybe.
update, they can upset Immortals. Absolutely, Fnatic completely could destroy Immortals.
I
They
I
have the potential to. I'm not saying it's gonna happen.
I think that if that happens, it'll be a matchup based around the bot lane. But like, cause I think that they have a pretty even bot lane, maybe even favoring Reckless, but their jungler isn't nearly as strong as Xmithy,
That's true.
and I don't know. I'm not super confident in that.
Okay.
Uh,
So
you could argue
W.
that
So
Soaz
the
is better
only.
than
So
Flame, though. It's a
right.
toss up.
So the only reason you think that WE can get out is because they're going to be slotted into Group D.
Yes.
Why does Group D, as opposed to, um, what other? I don't understand how they can't be. How they can only be slotted in Group D. I don't get it.
What do you mean?
Like, why is it only Group D? I don't understand what. Why can't they be slotted in Group C? Is it because RNG is there?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not
RNG.
Group B then?
Uh, there's a reason. Let me look it up. You riff.
Oh, shit. Thanks, buddy. Um, See, I think putting them in Group D is I don't know. It just it it creates like whenever you have a group stage type of thing, you always get a group of death, which this case could be considered Group C or Group A, right?
Right.
Both of those groups are incredibly competitive, with the exception of AHQ. I don't think
Mhm.
AHQ is going to do very good,
No.
but
I don't think any of the teams are going to do well except for WE.
okay. But the thing is, as with, I'm gonna use another soccer analogy because that's all I know.
Sure.
As with the World Cup, there are always a group of death, which is, it has Spain, it has Brazil, it has Germany, right? And
Right.
then whoever the poor unfortunate soul is that gets to get fucked on, usually it's America. Harkening back to the last World Cup, it it doesn't really matter. But there's also other groups that are usually incredibly challenging. Like they don't consider them groups of death because they don't have the big teams,
Right.
right?
No, yeah.
But they absolutely are.
there's always upset groups. Like
No,
groups
no, it's not
based
an
around.
upset group. It's not an upset group. There's a difference between an upset group and another group of death. I think that the upset group is Group B. The upset
Really.
group is Group B because whoever gets slotted in there could upset Immortals. They're not going to upset Longzhu. They could. Immortals has the potential to get upset. I think that Group D is the secondary group of death. It's like a minor group of death because there's Flash Wolves and TSM and Misfits. All of these teams are incredibly close in skill, which
I
is what creates the secondary group of death. Because whoever is in there, they're all going to basically be on the same page.
I think that Group D. I think people are right when people say that Group D is the easiest group because Misfits, not. I don't think they're gonna be close to the same level as even Flash Wolves, and Flash Wolves is, as everyone is saying, the weakest pool one seed,
Okay.
and everyone is putting TSM over Flash Wolves. There's probably going to be upsets. TSM is going to drop games for sure. Misfits is probably going to take some games off of Flash Wolves and TSM both. That being said, I don't think Misfits or Flash Wolves will get out provided that WE gets through.
Okay.
Right now, the popular uh, opinion is TSM seed 1, Flash Wolves seed 2, unless WE gets through, which they probably will. Therefore, it's WE seed 1, TSM seed 2.
You
And
don't think that TSM could take the first spot if WZ and E is in there?
no,
Why?
the upsets. I think that WE will be much more consistent than TSM.
So you think
Granted,
TSM? You don't
I
think that
wouldn't I
TSM will do worse against WE? You think that because TSM will lose a game against like Flash Wolves, that will be what causes them to get the second seed?
yes.
Okay, all right.
I
I'll let
I
that slide.
I agree that the gap between China and North America
Yeah.
is very close.
Right.
North America and is probably we don't we don't know for sure because we haven't seen North America and China face off
Right.
at all this year.
Okay.
But a lot of people are saying China number two, North America number three. But it's super close. It could be North America number two, China number three. We don't know.
Right.
We'll see how the group stages go. Also, the reason why the the reason why WE will be slotted into Group D is
Yeah.
because no other uh, none of the other teams like Cloud9, Fnatic, and HKA wouldn't be able to slot in there. So because they wouldn't be able to slot in there, the only team that could is WE,
Oh, okay.
provided that
So it's not like they can't go in another region in another group. It's just the other teams can't do it.
if Fenerbahce or some team upsets, uh, if Fenerbahce or RPG upset HKA,
Yeah.
then WE or whoever wins that could instead be slotted into Group B instead.
Okay. So it's really too early to tell.
Right. That's it's assuming the playing stages go as planned. I'll definitely be taking a close look at. I'll be watching Group D super carefully.
Yeah.
In for the plans, I mean.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'll definitely be watching Group A.
Okay. Um. All right.
I mean, I'll watch all of them, but I'll keep a very close eye on those two groups specifically.
Okay. So moving on from that, let's go back to the main groups here
Yep.
and talk about how we think the rest of the tournament is going to go. And I know for a fact that it is way too early to call anything.
For sure.
But how much money are you putting on SKT winning again?
We talked about this.
I know we talked about this again last week.
We talked about
but
this
now
last
we
week.
have the group stage, and we know who is most likely to get out and all that shit. So
I mean, Faker said himself he he believes that his group is the hardest out of all the other groups. So that just shows his confidence against EDG. So
I think it shows that he's scared of EDG. I think
no, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have confidence against EDG.
Okay.
That's why I think that's
right.
An important thing to factor in.
So
I don't think they're gonna win Worlds.
Okay.
I think they'll obviously be up there, but I don't think they will.
Okay. If SKT doesn't win Worlds, who does?
I mean, my first impulse is Longzhu, but
right. I think that's a very good pick. I also think Samsung has the potential because their playoff buff is very nice.
But it hasn't been. I don't know. I think Samsung is just too inconsistent to be considered the best team in the world.
No. Here's the thing. They are too inconsistent to be considered the best team in the world. But are they too inconsistent to become the best team in the world? That is the difference.
We'll see. I guess we'll see that.
That's the difference. Because I absolutely I would never call I wouldn't even call SKT the best team in the world. I mean, obviously they are.
Right.
But
you wouldn't say that out loud.
No, I would never say that SKT is the best team in the world because SKT is obviously the best team in the world.
Right.
Soundbite that. I never said that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that SKT has the potential to lose games.
Right.
I'm not saying they're perfect.
I've always stood by the fact that
they have a chance to lose a best of 5. It is possible to beat SKT. I'm not saying they're unbeatable. However, I do think I don't know, man. It's a safe bet. It's a safe bet.
18-3 record since 2015 was pretty scary.
It is a safe bet
Yeah,
to make that SKT will win
I
Worlds.
mean those there's two rules, right? If you watch LCK, you learn very quickly there are two rules,
Yeah.
two golden rules. Don't put your money on KT,
Yeah. Do
and
put your money on SKT.
don't bet against SKT.
Yeah.
Those are the two rules,
Yeah.
and I've been I bet against SKT more than I bet for
In favor
KT
of KT Rolster. The the
because they have a
thing
KT Rolster has a negative playoff buff.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, what happened with what's happening with SKT is kind of what happened with the last World Cup. Everyone thought um Brazil was going to do great, right? It Their home turf, their players are in prime condition. They're all like 23 years old. They're in the best shape of their life. They've all been playing together for a long ass time. They're all in the same leagues. They had pretty much the perfect opportunity, and then I'm not saying unsurprisingly, Germany just came in and swept out from under them. They fucking destroyed them 7-0, and it ruined their hopes of getting of a World Cup at home. Right? I think that SKT is in the same. It is in a similar position. They have the best players in the world. Those players have been playing for a long time. Sure, they've lost games, right? They didn't have the best record, but they're close to home, right? Or where is Worlds being taking
China.
place? They're real close to home. They're right next door,
They're
right?
right next. They're
You
right next.
know,
No, I'm. You don't have to explain why SKT is the best team
but
and
then
why
but then
everyone
you
is
know
putting their money on
but
them.
then but then like Longzhu and EDG, they're out here and they can just sweep it out from right from under them.
Okay, I see what you're
That's what
saying.
I'm saying.
My first impression on what the finals will be, or hopefully what it would be, is Longzhu EDG.
Okay. Right. Okay. I think that's a pretty good bet to make. I absolutely think that Longzhu has the potential to make it to the finals. I would be shocked if they didn't make it to at least the semis. Right?
Right. I but I guess what we need to consider though is for SKT to not make it to Worlds, they're obviously going to get out of groups. So who do they play that beats them?
That's the thing. Who do they play that beats them? Which is why I'm thinking that SKT has the potential to win again because they can't go up against EDG in the bracket because they're in the same group.
Right.
The only team I think that could beat them would be Longzhu. If
But
they get matched on the same side of the bracket as Longzhu, that has the potential to fucking the whole SKT wins every year thing. I don't think that's the problem. Like what I'm saying is I don't think SKT is a shoe in. However, I don't see another team that has a clearer shot at it, right?
right.
I don't see another team that has a more consistent has good enough players, has just the potential and has the clear path, the break
Yeah.
in the offensive line to get to the
Right.
goal, right?
I'm getting a horrible uh suspicion that TSM or Immortals will end up being faced against SKT
Yeah,
very
that
early.
is that is a that is absolutely a possibility, and it's gonna be a tragedy.
Yeah.
Rest in fucking pieces, dude.
Rest in peace.
Rip in pieces.
Did we got did we get one game off of them or did we not in
When
MSI?
I don't know, man.
I
We
don't
did
think
pretty bad at MSI. We
Yeah.
did so fucking bad.
Yeah, you're right.
We didn't do well. I
I'm
don't
trying to
remember.
remember. I'm trying to
It was
remember.
so fucking
I'm
long
trying to
ago.
remember any time that we've taken the game off SKT. I'm pretty sure
I
we
don't
have.
think any North American team has done it. At least not in my memory.
It's happened for sure. I don't know. Uh, so maybe I if any team has the potential to upset SKT, it's EDG, but they won't be able
They're
to
in the
see.
same group, so they won't be able to upset them in the bracket, which is the problem.
Right.
That's really the thing that gets me is that I don't know, man. I
Will
just
they be able to face Longzhou before finals? Because
if they end no, the only way they'll be able to face Longzhou before finals is if they end up on the same side of the bracket.
but like, can that happen if you're from the same region?
Yeah, they're not in the same group.
Right, but I thought it was based on like
No,
regionals.
no. As far as I know, they're it, you know, as far as I know, they're going to be in. They're not going to be on the same side. They're going to be not going to be on opposite sides of the bracket.
We'll see.
I actually have no idea how Riot's going to do it because they seem to change the rules every year.
We'll definitely see what's happening with that. Uh, Longzhou and EDG easily have the best shots to take down SKT.
Yeah.
I could also maybe see it happening for
You
maybe
know,
Samsung
no. You know
if
what?
Samsung doesn't get reverse swept.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
TSM can beat SKT.
Best of 5.
It's a possibility.
It
Because well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hold on, I'm thinking.
Yep. Take your time.
Let me just. I gotta.
You're good.
Yeah.
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 Uh-huh.
TSM does not do well in individual games,
No.
right? They, and it's part because the players learn, and it's also because we have, honestly, one of the best coaching staff in the entire world.
Right.
Because that motherfucker, Parth, is I've never seen anything like that human being. He pays attention to so much shit at the same time. I don't understand how he does it, but he has the potential, and he's been coaching these guys for a long time to analyze the situation and figure out how to win. That's what he does. Is he explains the win condition to these guys, and that's what they execute on.
Here is my I'm gonna run down my analysis of the hypothetical SKT versus
Just
TSM. If we compare it by coaches, Parth has even come out and said that he's not as influential of a coach as a bunch of other coaches.
Yeah.
I'd say that Coma is.
Okay.
SKT would not at all be SKT if they didn't have Coma. I've said that in the past.
That's true.
That man is by far the best coach in the world. So that's +1 SKT. Huni has been
He's on the downslide.
He's been on the
I don't know
downside.
what it is up with him. Speaking of that, we have another topic to talk about. I'm gonna pause for just a second. Huni over Untara. We saw an article today on what was it on? Was
Blitz.
it on? It was on Blitz.
Yep.
That Huni is going to be attending and not Untara because they're taking both Peanut and Bengi.
Right, which I think won them Worlds last year.
And I think that's honestly the most intelligent choice they could have made.
Right. It was like I feel like everyone knew that they would keep Bengi and Peanut. It was just whether or not they wanted the safer choice of Untara or the carry choice of Huni.
Yeah. Huni is I don't know how to describe him. He's like a fucking drugged up monkey, man.
He
like you just like you're like, okay, you got to win the game. Just go fucking nuts. And that's what he does. He just goes fucking nuts. He doesn't have a game plan. He just fucking kills people.
Yeah, but when he doesn't, he doesn't.
And when he doesn't have a plan, it just falls apart. Like when he doesn't have to care, like when he's not like you carry, he just doesn't play the game well.
Right.
He does not play a supportive tank. That's what he
Right.
does. He doesn't play tank heroes.
Right.
As evidenced by the fact that 2 years ago he picked Lucian top when they clearly needed a tank.
Hey man, they were underestimated in those teams.
Jesus Christ.
Okay,
Hello,
so
is Lucian a tank?
I think at Huni's lowest lows, Haunter's way better than him.
Absolutely.
At Huni's highest highs, I think it's a bit closer because I have confidence in Haunter, but I would put Huni definitely above Haunter. It's closer, but it's definitive.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
He's at the highest of high, but
here's what I'm gonna say. If we put Bjergsen on Galio and Haunter on a carry, and SKT does the same thing, they put Huni on a carry, TSM loses the game. If we put Bjergsen on a carry and we put Haunts are on a tank, TSM wins the game. Okay,
I'm gonna.
and that's the difference. Like, because if SKT doesn't have Huni carry, he's basically useless.
I'm gonna continue with my analysis, and
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, Your Highness, I interrupted
uh,
you.
because this all applies. I'll probably give the +1 to TSM there because we don't know what's gonna be going on with Huni. Hanser is much more consistent than Huni, even though he's not extremely consistent.
He's very consistent because he
Hopefully
plays a
he'll
lot of
get.
tanks. That's what he knows
Hopefully
how to
he'll
play.
get.
He knows how to play tanks.
Hopefully, like consistency will get better with TSM, and we don't know. So I'll give the +1 to TSM.
Right.
Jungle isn't even a
It's
competition.
not even a contest. As much as I love Sven Skaren, he just can't compete with Peanut or Bengi.
I love Sven
They're
Skaren.
just too good, man.
I love Sven Skaren. I don't think he was even in the top junglers in NA.
Okay.
I think he was.
Alright.
I love Sven Skaren so much. He hasn't been. He peaked at his Lee Sin in Worlds last year.
That's true. That was fucking bananas.
I want to see that
I
shit.
want that back.
Because that happened and everyone was caught off by surprise. We were just
Yeah,
like,
it was
where did
so
this come
fucking
from?
good.
His playoffs buff, he had a playoffs buff, and Hanser and Biofrost didn't.
Yeah.
But he was the rookie on the
Yeah,
team
yeah.
that
Yeah.
just
I want
blew
that
up.
Lee Sin back. If they don't pick Lee Sin at least one game in Worlds, I'm gonna be so upset.
Oh, between if it's between SKT and TSM, one of them is picking Lee Sin.
Somebody's gonna pick Lee Sin, and it's probably not gonna be TSM.
Last year when or no, it was at MSI.
Yeah.
When Peanut almost broke the record for the most amount of kills on one with one person.
Oh yeah.
He had like 14 kills on Lee Sin by 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. And then he was like, "All right, I'm just gonna play team game now."
Yeah, and then he actually played the game.
Guys, I've had my fun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he was
play
like,
team game.
He was what 2 or 3 kills away from breaking the record.
I think he was like 2 kills away.
Yeah. Anyways.
Which everyone was like, "Why did you stop?"
Right. It makes total sense why he did. But anyways, point to SKT for sure.
Okay. It's faker. It's faker. It's faker. It's faker. It's fucking faker.
I'm gonna give it even points here.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that Bjergsen is as good as Faker?
Oh, that's always been a question. Yeah. Like, cause Bjergsen and Faker are the two best in the world.
Here's the thing. If Faker is 100%,
he's the Faker of the West. It's the Faker of the East.
If Faker is 100%, Bjergsen is 99.
Right.
That's the thing. I don't think they're on equal grounds. However, it is extremely close.
Yeah. I think that they play. I think TSM plays around mid better than SKT does. Though.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's more even.
Okay. That's true.
Because
I will give you that one.
The Danish duo, man.
This is the Danish duo.
Sven Skaren doesn't have to be, playing his everything out.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he sticks around mid lane on the tank and just camps hard, you know.
The game just kind of plays itself.
Yeah, Peanut has a tendency to lean towards bottom.
Yeah.
But
which I think is scary because Sven Skaren absolutely does not.
No.
He does not ever come bot lane.
I have confidence in I think SKT's bot lane is very close to TSM's also, provided that Biofrost plays the way he was playing the last time we saw him.
Yeah.
He was Bio Daddy.
Yeah. I want that motherfucker to play that game like every time because I watched
ascended into Bio God.
I watched the mic check for that. Motherfucker was stone goddamn cold.
Oh yeah.
Last fucking game, that fight I told you about.
Yeah.
We talked about it. He was like, I'm gonna flash on Lucian. And he just did it.
And
he didn't even hesitate. He just fucking flashed on Lucian. And everyone was like, man, Jesus Christ, that motherfucker does what he means.
Right. Like if we get Thresh, if we get
oh god,
if we get Rakan,
I want
if we get
Thresh. Dude.
If we get Tom Kench, because I love watching him play Tom
I
Kench.
hate watching him play.
If we get like a ranged
if we get a
ranged
Karma,
support,
if we
like
get a Karma.
I mean,
Karma's
I
not
wouldn't
really
want
in
to
the
see
meta
I
right
wouldn't
now.
want to see Karma against SKT, but that's a different thing.
No, Karma's not really in
It,
meta.
it really depends on what the meta for Worlds is going to be. But
well, the meta for Worlds is what the meta is right now.
right, but I mean,
They're not doing another patch.
I know that, but like
That's what shifts the meta.
things are going to change.
Like what?
People are going to play different things.
Well, yeah, but like the meta's not gonna change.
Well, right, but you got to pull out cheese if you're against
That's
SKT.
true. You do have to lather on some cheese.
And
you gotta
also,
get a nice 5 cheese blend. If
right.
You want it.
I mean,
can't just have.
We saw Rumble Jungle recently.
You can't just have. Well, and everyone's been playing Ezreal Jungle apparently.
In Korea, yeah.
Yeah. I
Double
and in North America's fucking solo queue apparently because I watched Dyrus' stream the other day.
Solo queue.
Yeah, North American solo queue. Everyone's trying it too because
I know it's the number one thing in Korean solo queue.
I watched Dyrus' stream the other day and he goes, "Why are these people trying to do Ezreal Jungle? It doesn't work in North America."
No, we're too much of monkeys.
Yeah, everyone's too stupid.
Anyways, I think it's much closer. But I don't know. It would be very interesting to watch SKT and TSM, and it would go far beyond. Like if it was a 3-1 in favor of SKT, people would be like, "Oh, it's 3-1. They got raffle stomped."
Yeah.
It would, but I don't.
I
Think
think.
that would
Well,
count.
see, the thing is, I think it'll be a 3-1, like it, like What was the game we were talking about earlier today? That was a 3-1. Was it
CLG
CLG?
Cloud9?
It would be no, that was a 3-2. Wasn't it 3-2?
No.
No, it'll be like CLG Cloud9. All of the games will be very close. It
Right.
might be a 3-1, but all of the games will be very close.
Right. And it's games like those, like games against incredible teams.
Yeah.
That I think picks and bans is the most interesting to watch. I think picks and bans are the most interesting to watch.
Picks and bans.
And most pivotal in
Stop
those.
talking about picks and bans.
It's so important.
Stop it.
It is.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
The only thing that matters are bans.
That's not true.
Everyone's gonna be playing what they were gonna be playing. It's an argument for afterworlds when we have to do this podcast. We can just argue about how much I hate picks and bans. We don't have anything to talk about.
We will do a VOD review, and I will go far in depth about how important it is.
Oh, you're gonna walk me through every single second of the game and just talk about picks and bans and do nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll walk you through picks and bans like a little baby who doesn't know how to walk across the street.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Jesus Christ. When Worlds is over, I mark my words right now, when Worlds is over, there will be an entire podcast episode where I just fucking rage about how much Keegan loves picks and bans.
I do love picks and bans.
Oh my god. I like
there
analyzing...
are 3 things that Eric hates. 1, Jensen.
I hate Jensen.
2, Europe.
I hate Europe.
3, picks and bans.
I hate picks and bans.
You just...
I'm a simple man, but...
And there are 2 things that you love. Or no, 3 things you love. You love winning.
Yeah.
It's in your family.
Yep.
You love TSM.
Yep.
And you love Rem.
No, I love my wife. Fuck off.
Rem is your wife.
That's not... No, I'm married. Like,
yeah,
you,
you're
dude.
actually married. I was at
Oh,
your
I
wedding.
hate you. Look at this ring. It's on my finger right now.
I see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
You see it? It's right there.
We're
Punch
getting
you
off topic.
I don't even care. This is my podcast. I do whatever I want.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the great thing about having my own podcast. Is I can talk about whatever the fuck I want. So I don't know.
It's all a toss up.
And see, the thing is, I don't want to say it's all a toss up, because playoffs for NA this year was all a toss up, right? All the teams were basically on the same page. Worlds is not like that, It's Worlds. They're literally the best teams in the world here, and I think it's gonna make a difference.
Right, you have to consider the gap is closing.
No, well, yeah, cliche. The gap is closing. Gap is closing.
It is a cliche, but cliches aren't bad.
No, I know, but however, the gap is closing. However, I don't think that is gonna make it a toss-up.
Right.
There are just gonna be certain teams that they just win, man. They just do it. There's always the Yankees. There's always,
Right.
like
Well,
Real Madrid is always going to exist. SKT is always going to win something.
see, I like to compare the way that the groups were slotted in, like the way the teams were slotted into each group.
Yeah.
Very similar to picks and bans. There is ultimately going to be a winner based on skill,
Yeah.
but it affects how everything else is played.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give you that one because that is exactly the argument I wanted to hear.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good job, Keegan. You convinced me to like picks and bans.
I'm telling you, man.
Except I don't like picks and bans. Because after that timer's gone and the game starts, picks and bans are no longer relevant.
Well, the idea that picks and bans win games is because that it's all assuming that the player can play their champion like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Sometimes people play worse. Sometimes people go above and beyond what they're supposed to. So,
All right.
you know.
Okay, we're getting off track. I want to talk. We're done talking about worlds. I want to talk about some very interesting news that came out. What was it like last week?
Are you talking about the EU changes?
About Europe, yeah.
It came out right as I looked on the Blitz app as I was walking home after doing the podcast.
So last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. For those who don't know, Europe is changing its format. North America is also changing its format, which I think is what prompted this.
Oh yeah, everyone has been begging Europe
Yep.
to change because they've just
Yep.
Riot's European league.
Division is just not
They've just been
on the
fucking
same page.
over their players.
So North America is moving to a franchise model, which means all of the teams have to pay for a spot, and then it's a permanent spot.
Right.
Right. So going along with that, Europe is, which is how traditional sports are formed in America.
Right, because it's
Teams-
better for players, better for teams, better
teams-
for
teams-
even the viewer and the audience.
It teams buy a spot, so they have a consistent amount of teams. It creates the potential for more teams to come into the league if they have the money. It's like the MLS is seeing that right now with Orlando was recently added and Phoenix was recently added. More teams can come into the league purely based on the fact that they are good enough to have a team and they have the money, which is fine. They can stay at the bottom of the table if they're not very good anyway. But Europe is trying to mimic the same model that their traditional sports, specifically soccer, rely on, which has multiple tiers of play, right? Which is kind of what we saw previously with the challenger scene and the LCS, but it was unique to League of Legends, which is an understatement.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to mimic. Premier has 3 leagues. They have 1, 2, and the Premier League. Okay, the teams that are in the top of the bottom leagues move up based on points that they gain from their regular season, and the teams from the higher leagues move down based on how many points they don't have.
Sure.
Okay. Europe is implementing what 2 tier? How many regions is it? Is it going to be?
It is 4 regions based in Barcelona, London, Paris, and Berlin.
Okay.
Each region, sorry, will have 6 teams, and they're already started accepting applications.
Right.
And they said that they're not worried at all about not having teams. So each region will have 6 teams, 24 teams total.
Yep.
The top 2 of each region
Yep.
will play in a larger group.
Yeah.
Or in a larger league against each other. The 3rd and 4th place will compete to be in the upper region.
Yep.
And the bottom 2 will stay in their respective region.
That's great, and what I think they're doing is a great model. However, they just don't have enough teams, man. They just don't. They're gonna need how many? What, 6 regions, right?
4 regions.
4 regions.
6
So they're gonna need 16 teams, correct, for the biggest region.
Something like that.
For the top region.
No,
they're gonna need 12 teams for the top region, assuming that 3rd and 4th place compete against for one spot.
Well,
They're going to need 12 teams for the top,
eight,
and they're going
eight,
to
eight
need
teams for the top.
8 teams automatically, but 12 because those 4 regions
Yeah,
are
right.
going to fight for another one singular spot. They're going to need 12 teams for the top region, and then they're going to need how many teams are going to be in the lower regions?
Uh,
How many
eight.
teams each?
Eight.
8 teams?
It's the top two from
No, it's
each.
6 teams. 6 teams for each of the smaller regions, right? So then 24 teams for the smaller region, 12 teams
This-
for the top.
this
They're
is
gonna
a-
need.
this is
They're
such a
gonna need.
mess.
They're gonna need 36 fucking teams.
No, it's 20. It's all 24 teams. Listen. So the top two teams.
Unless
from
unless
each-
the higher region is a bracket format, you're not talking about the same thing.
the top two teams from each region.
Yes.
4 regions.
Yeah.
8 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bottom two.
Stay.
Same thing.
Yeah.
8 teams. Then there's the middle two.
They compete for one spot.
There's 8 teams competing. No.
For one spot each.
1 spot each. Yeah.
So that's 4 more teams.
Well, no, because
Yes.
third and fourth of a region can both get into them. Can both get into the top of the region.
They're not competing against each other. They're competing against all the other regions. Because I thought it was like say you take the Berlin third and fourth place teams, they fight each other for one spot. That's what I thought it was going to be.
It's based on the points. So if any of the teams from Berlin, if the top 2 teams from Berlin don't have enough points and
Okay.
the
All right.
third and fourth place team
I'm
have more
still
points.
gonna I'm still gonna assume it's 12 teams at the top because that if it's 16, that's just way too many teams. So many teams in a league.
It would be
Too many
8 teams at the top.
Eight.
I
8 teams
it's
for
so
the first and second.
This
They-
is
we
I-
don't
I
have.
un- I
Okay,
under- I
I'm
understand
just
what
gonna
you're saying.
before we continue arguing about this, I'm just gonna put it out there for all the listeners that Riot has not released a full game plan
they've
for what they are going to do.
they've
They have
very
released,
roughly
they have,
explained.
They have released a something to get us all to stop asking questions.
They've
Is
released
what they've done.
cliff notes, but it just
Yeah.
it begs more questions
Yeah,
about these specifics.
we don't have all of the specifics. We don't really know how the region is going to work. All right, back to arguing.
I mean, even after they announced all this stuff, those teams, because all these teams knew about it, knew about this change far before the general public did,
Yeah.
and they still applied for franchising in North America.
Yeah,
like they
no,
still want.
Yeah,
out.
absolutely, and I think it's a smart move. A lot of the European teams have their origins based in North America.
Right.
Like what Misfits and Fnatic and
I don't know about Fnatic.
I thought Fnatic did. I swear to God, it was Fnatic.
I'm pretty sure it's G2.
G2 does. I know that. A lot of at least 3 teams have already applied for North American
Right.
players
Yeah.
for North American spots.
We'll see what happens with that.
We're gonna see that a lot sooner than we're gonna see what the fuck happens with Europe.
Right.
My point is, Europe's gonna need more teams.
Yes.
They're gonna need more teams no matter what they do. No matter if they need 12 teams at the top, no matter if they need 36 teams or 24 teams total, they're gonna need more teams. They're basically
For sure.
doubling their roster.
They need more teams, but also North America needs more teams.
North America's only, aren't we only gonna have 12 teams?
I
thought it was only 12 spots.
highly doubt there's gonna be only 12.
I thought it was 12 spots and they're gonna expand it the next year.
I don't know what they're doing for sure, but if it's franchising, I feel like they gotta go way more than 10 or 12.
I guess. Well, I mean, I'm just saying it's kind of a small thing right now. Like esports isn't too huge where everyone and their grandmother wants a spot. You know, like fucking the NFL had to stop being like, no more teams. We can't have any more teams.
I mean, it's a popular esport.
Mhm.
Like they're getting so many. Each region is getting so many applications.
That's true.
We just don't get to see it.
That's true. That's true.
Uh,
We're just not gonna know until next year. I think it's honestly I don't like it. I don't think it's great. I think they should just do the same thing North America's doing.
I think that's what everyone is thinking,
They
but
should do it.
I'm open to giving it a shot.
Here's
This
the-
might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, but
I
we'll see.
I would encourage this if they had franchising like the European teams do. I'm not saying that this isn't
What do you mean?
it's kind of like franchise. Like what the European teams do is they still get money,
European
right?
teams for what?
For soccer.
Okay.
They still get a certain amount of money. It's just less money if they get to lower tiers, right?
Right.
They still get a certain amount of money from the league, who gets money from the cable companies, because that's how the whole model works.
Right.
And Riot, instead of getting from cable companies, they just get it from internal revenue.
Right.
Okay? But the thing is, they're not doing that. They're just saying if you don't win, you're shit out of luck. You know, if you're not in the top region, you just don't get enough money to sustain yourself. That's the problem.
I think that's I think that's definitely why NA and EU is getting rid of the challenger scene.
Yeah.
Because if your team doesn't do well enough, you lose all of the sponsorships that you had before.
You lose everything.
I mean, the manager for Unicorns of Love came out
released
recently.
that video.
Yeah,
I watched that video.
Yeah, he came out recently talking about
I watched that
how
video. However,
esports,
it was really hard to take him seriously with all the costume changes.
how esports make money. I'm used to taking him seriously because he's always dressed like that.
He's just a fucking lunatic.
I love
No, it
him.
wasn't like he could have done the whole thing in his like Galaxy spandex pants, and I would have been able to take him seriously. It's just the fact that every time he started a new sentence, he had a different costume on.
I love it, but that video is essentially explaining why European teams
are shit fucked.
Yeah, that's why they want out.
If you haven't watched it, it's on Reddit. Go watch it.
It's on Reddit. It's on Blitz.
It's on everything.
It's everywhere.
Go watch it. It's a very nice video. If nothing else, just go watch it to look at his abs, man.
That man is beautiful.
He's a beautiful man.
Also, I'm confused about each team that's in Europe right now got to pick what region they go to.
Right.
Which is fair.
That's fine. Yeah.
It's weird how it all worked out.
Yeah.
So H2K and Giants went to Barcelona.
Okay. It's probably where they're based.
Well, yeah. It's just you have to question what this means for the competition.
I know for the fact that nobody's going to Paris.
Nobody's picked anything for Paris. London has Fnatic, G2, Misfits, and Splice.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
That's so many.
I don't think they should have gotten to pick. I think
that's four of the top 6 teams that have always been at the top.
I think Riot should have just drawn where they're going.
I think it makes sense if the teams choose. It's just like I just think it's super weird how it worked out and super unfortunate.
Right.
And then Berlin has Unicorns of Love, Schalke, and Roccat.
Schalke's not awesome.
Schalke and Roccat are brand new.
Yeah, but they're not great.
They're not great. Unicorns is much better.
Yeah. It's gonna be. It's just gonna be a clusterfuck, man.
It's gonna be a clusterfuck.
It's gonna be a clusterfuck. Europe's just this is why I hate Europe, man. Fucking everything's a clusterfuck over there.
You know, I like Europe. I really enjoy watching Europe because Unicorns is just so
they're spicy.
They're so spicy.
They are spicy. They are very spicy.
I feel like if you watch Europe, you would be a Unicorns of Love fan.
That's probably true.
Because
either that or Misfits.
Because I like teams that have stories behind them. And Unicorns, the first year they come in, #1 team is Fnatic. And Unicorns are a brand new team.
Yeah.
No one can beat Fnatic.
Yeah.
Fnatic is just steamrolling everyone.
Yeah.
Except when Unicorns comes in and beats them in super intense ways, cheeses everybody, like they play completely out of the meta.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah.
And their entire strategy is just them having fun at the game. It's just so much fun to watch. Or it was so much fun to watch.
Now they got serious.
But they're still so good.
They're very good.
Ivern isn't even in the meta right now.
They're still playing him.
But Xerxes is still probably the best Ivern in the world.
It's not hard to beat because no one's playing him.
Well, right now he is. But I mean, like, just even when people were playing him, I definitely think he was the best Ivern.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna stop you from gushing too much about your boys. Don't give me that look. I know you want to gush about your boys, but if I'm not allowed to gush about TSM, you're not allowed to gush about it.
I'll gush
Fucking
about TSM.
go away.
We're gonna win worlds.
That's bullshit, and you know it.
We're gonna win.
Okay. So I think there's not really much going on. What do we have going on next week?
Nothing, right?
Nothing.
It's just nothing.
All right. So next week's podcast may be very boring, very interesting. We'll have something to talk about, but I'm not really sure because we don't really have any competitions to talk about coming up. Um, Anything you can think of?
Is there anything going on in like Overwatch or?
You know what? I'm gonna talk about Overwatch. I'm gonna talk about Overwatch. That's all we're gonna talk about. Is I'm just gonna talk about Overwatch for an hour and a half straight because I love that game and I love the esports scene for it. But the esports scene for it is fucking weird.
You know what? Next week we can just do a
We'll do a free
sort of a grab bag
Yeah.
random of
Next week
fandoms.
we'll do a grab bag. We'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Not really going to be too much league focus. We will be right back at it as soon as World starts,
Right.
and as soon as those picks, the play-in phase comes into play.
Right. Is there anything else that like other than Overwatch? I mean, I know for me, personally, I love Magic the Gathering. I play Magic the Gathering so much, and there's some crazy shit going on right now.
Maybe
in the world.
maybe next week we'll have Keegan teach me how to play Magic.
Oh my god, I don't know about that.
All right, well for now this is gonna be it. I thank you for joining me, Keegan. This has been the conclusion of episode 2 of the Tiltane Gaming Podcast. This episode will air sometime. It will air on the 15th of September, so a couple of days after this.
Yeah.
And so until then, thank you for joining us on this wonderful voyage we've had on the train today. Please don't leave any bags on the train. We do need to lock it up at night, and you can't come back and get your things. So make sure all your personal belongings are off the train when you leave. Thank you for joining us.
Choo choo.